All right, let's move on to the 2A game. We'll talk about it pretty quickly because, unfortunately, it did not go Eastbrook's
Did not go
way.
well. It was
from the snap.
Yeah.
If they don't get that interception in the end zone, they're down 28-0 at the
Yeah.
half. And at halftime, I think the biggest question, unfortunately, for Eastbrook fans was, this is the first year of the mercy rule. Do you do a mercy rule in a state championship game? The answer is no.
Nope.
You got to get that TV money,
right? Absolutely.
For all those breaks and everything like that.
Yeah.
The second half was a little bit better, but it just wasn't. Western Boone, when you went down there on the field and saw the size, especially of the lines of Western Boone, you're like, this is going to be...
That's trouble.
Yeah, this is going to be... They're on the all-airport team.
Yeah.
This is going to be trouble for Eastbrook, and unfortunately it was.
It was a more lopsided game than we saw a year ago between the same two teams. And, we knew Eastbrook was in trouble when on first down they were getting 1 and 2 yards, not 4, 5, 6 yards,
big
because
chunk yardage.
That's how Eastbrook rolls, right? They get a 2nd and 5, then they get a 3rd and 1. That's how they move the chains, and then they'll attack you over the top randomly. Instead, they were facing 2nd and 11 and 3rd and 9s, and that's just not Eastbrook's MO. So once their offense couldn't do anything, you felt, okay, that's trouble. Maybe they can keep it close with the defense. That wasn't in the cards either. It was just a hammering on both sides of the football. Interestingly, I don't think it helps. It wouldn't have helped last Saturday in that game. But now Eastbrook's been down there, 4 times, has had runners up 4 times, a couple of close losses.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah, and you look at it, and how Eastbrook operates is those little by little yards. And then by the 3rd or 4th quarter, they're physically wearing down their opponent, right? I mean, they're not blowing anybody out, but man, 3rd and 4th, because they do the hurry-up offense and get to the line. With so many media timeouts at state finals, it negated that. Now, wouldn't have helped last Saturday, but last year against Webo, Webo wore them down as opposed to Eastbrook wearing them down. So you're thinking the way Eastbrook rolls, where they like to keep defenses on their heels and tired in the second half, they're not able to do that in the state finals.
One thing I noticed, last year it felt like that Logan Benson kid who had graduated was just running behind the defense and catching bombs. This year it looked more like screens and maybe some missed tackles and actually some good blocking by the Webo receivers. It wasn't as, Spencer Wright was like 14 of 18 for 254 yards. It also helps to have a state championship winning quarterback back for the second time in a state championship game, and he was phenomenal, but it was a different type of passing game, and maybe Eastbrook realized that they didn't want to get beat deep, but that allowed for some of those intermediate passes, and then, yards after the catch, that was a big problem.
Webo, I felt like, had a lot more athletes than it did last year in terms of actually proven athletes and ready to make plays. Eastbrook just wants to line up and punch you in the mouth, right? And it was more of a finesse game for Webo. And once they got out to the edges, particularly in that screen game and some sweeps and stuff like that, man, it was advantage Webo, and they attacked it. Once they saw that they could have success out there, they just kept going to it, and Eastbrook had no answer.
Really like Jeff Adamson as the head coach. And I actually asked this to Dirk Rowley, who was an Eastbrook grad, and he was down at the game. He follows Eastbrook all the time. His answer to this question was no, but you know what they're going to do offensively. You know what they're going to do defensively. You've gotten to the 2A state championship game 3 of the last 4 years. Each time you've lost. Do you change what you do and say, you know what, this can only get us so far?
Right.
Or do you say, we've just had some bad matchups, maybe some bad luck. We got to keep with this because it's getting us to the state championship game. I don't know that there's a right or wrong.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you're Eastbrook, do you say, okay, do we change something, or we just keep making it this far, and eventually we'll win a state championship?
I think it's gotten you there 3 out of the last 4 years,
Yeah.
right? So something's working, but maybe during the regular season when you're beating up on these teams, maybe you're like, okay, we're going to work on this in the second half so we can be in a position that if we need it, we have it, or something like that. Maybe they kind of mix in some additional wrinkles to that offense, but I mean, you are what you are, right? And for 30-some years, Eastbrook has really excelled under Jeff Adamson, and those kids from, little tykes through middle school, high school, they're running the same thing.
Exactly.
All the time. So that's why they're so good at it, and that's why they can get to state championship games. But, man, they just need that little bit more to get a big trophy.
Yeah, I'm not being critical of Coach Adamson at all. I just think it's an interesting question to ponder, just because I know how bad they want that state championship.
And they're one of the few teams we talked about all the time, Glenn, that they're one of the few teams that is very one-dimensional. They can pass when they need to, but they really the pass is predicated off success in the run.
Right.
That can get down to state. We talk so much about teams that are one-dimensional swing. Eventually, they're going to run into a team in sectional or regional or semi-state that's going to be able to stop that.
Yeah, they do it so well.
You know, I mean, I'm thinking, Chair Busco, this year you looked at Jake Folk and say, okay, somebody's going to stop Jake Folk, and then they're going to be done. And Eastside did it in the regular season. So you're thinking, man, Eastbrook, you look, okay, take away that run game, and they're in trouble. They do it so well that it sometimes takes a team in the state championship game to finally do it.